In North Korea, propaganda is not just posters on a wall. It is not just songs about the leader, military parades, or children marching in perfect lines. It is the invisible system that tells people what to fear, what to love, what to believe, and even what to remember. Because in most countries, propaganda helps leaders stay popular. But in North Korea, propaganda does something far more important. It helps the regime survive. So the real question is not just why North Korea uses propaganda. The real question is, why would the system become so fragile without it? North Korea is not only ruled by soldiers, borders, and laws, it is ruled by a story. That story says the country is surrounded by enemies. It says the outside world is dangerous, corrupt, and waiting to destroy them. And it says the Kim family is the only force strong enough to protect the people. This story is repeated everywhere. In schools, at workplaces, on television, in newspapers, in songs, in speeches, in public ceremonies. And the purpose is simple. The regime does not only want obedience, it wants control over reality itself. That control begins early. Before children fully understand politics, they are taught songs praising the leader. They hear stories about heroic sacrifice, evil foreign enemies, and almost superhuman leaders who protect the nation like fathers. To outsiders, this may look strange, but for the regime, childhood is the first battlefield. Because when a belief enters a person early enough, it does not feel like propaganda. It feels like truth. Later in life, those same people may see poverty, hunger, or fear around them. But propaganda trains them not to ask why the system is failing. It trains them to ask who is trying to hurt us. That difference is everything. When people suffer, the regime gives them a target. Food shortages are blamed on sanctions, foreign enemies, natural disasters, or hostile forces. Economic failure is not shown as bad leadership. It is presented as proof that North Korea is bravely resisting the world. In many countries, hardship can turn into anger toward the government. In North Korea, propaganda tries to turn hardship into loyalty. Suffering becomes sacrifice. Sacrifice becomes patriotism. And survival itself becomes proof of strength. This is why the outside enemy is so important. The United States, South Korea, Japan, and other foreign powers are often shown as constant threats. The message is always the same. The country is under siege. The people must unite. Doubt is dangerous. Criticism helps the enemy. Once a government convinces people they are surrounded, it can justify almost anything. Military spending during hunger. Surveillance inside neighborhoods. Punishment for private thoughts. Isolation from the outside world. The regime tells the people, you are not poor because we failed you. You are suffering because the enemy fears us. That idea protects the system from blame. But propaganda does not only create fear, it creates worship. The Kim dynasty has built one of the strongest personality cults in the modern world. Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un are not presented like normal politicians. They are shown as protectors, geniuses, warriors, and fathers of the nation. This matters because dictatorships become fragile when people see the leader as just a man. A man can make mistakes. A man can be questioned. A man can be replaced. But a symbol is harder to challenge. If the leader becomes the nation, then criticizing the leader becomes the same as betraying the country. That is the deeper power of propaganda. It builds a prison inside the mind before the state needs to build one outside. But North Korea's propaganda has another job: hiding comparison. A person can endure hardship if they believe everyone lives the same way. But if they discover that people across the border eat more, speak freely, travel, watch foreign films, and criticize leaders without disappearing, the story begins to crack. That is why outside information is so dangerous. A smuggled drama, a foreign radio broadcast, a phone call near the Chinese border, a USB drive passed quietly from hand to hand. These small things can threaten the regime more than they seem, because they introduce one forbidden question: what if everything we were told is false? The regime understands this. That is why foreign media is punished so harshly. Not because one movie can overthrow a country, but because comparison is the enemy of total control. Once people see another version of life, propaganda has to work harder. And when propaganda has to work harder, it is already losing power. Still, North Korea's propaganda is not only aimed inward, it also speaks to the world. Military parades, missile tests, state announcements, and staged images of Kim Jong-un are messages to foreign governments. The message is clear: we are strong, we are united, we are dangerous, we cannot be ignored. Even when the country is economically weak, propaganda helps it project power. A missile launch becomes theater. A parade becomes a warning. A leader's photograph becomes a signal of control. But behind all of this is a deeper truth. North Korea needs propaganda because its system depends on belief as much as force. Yes, it has prisons, police, informants, soldiers, and harsh punishments, but fear alone is not enough. Fear creates silence. Propaganda creates performance. It teaches people what thoughts are safe, what emotions are expected, when to clap, when to cry, when to cheer, and when to stay silent. The greatest achievement of propaganda is not making everyone believe. It is making everyone behave as if they believe. And in North Korea, that may be enough. Because when everyone appears loyal, doubt feels lonely. When everyone repeats the same slogans, silence feels dangerous. When every wall carries the leader's image, private skepticism can feel like a crime before anyone even speaks. This is why propaganda survives even when reality contradicts it. The state does not need to convince every citizen that life is good. It only needs to convince them that resistance is hopeless, enemies are everywhere, and the leader is permanent. But the endless propaganda also reveals something important. If the system were truly secure, it would not need such total control over information. If people were truly convinced, they would not need to be reminded every day. Every poster, every song, every speech, and every broadcast is not just decoration. It is armor. Armor against doubt. Armor against comparison. Armor against the simple question every dictatorship fears: why must I live this way? North Korea needs propaganda to survive, because without it, the regime would face something more dangerous than any foreign enemy. It would face its own people, seeing the system clearly for the first time.